parties where they were like, "Oh, you playing in the snow?" And I was like, "Well, you know what? I don't want to play in the mud. I want to get dirty now." She goes,
DJ.
My boy was sitting there, he goes, "Motherfucker, brave dog. You brave. You about to get." I know. I was like, she came at me first. So, it is what it is.
So I guess the question would be, do you believe it is okay for a black man to marry a white woman?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I think you marry whoever you want, right? Like if a white woman wants to marry a black man, perfect. If a black man wants to marry a Chinese woman, perfect. It is what it is. I mean, as long as everybody's happy and you're not committing any crimes, and you're not beating each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah,
For me, it was. I got a lot of that. Not growing up, but I've always dated white girls.
Okay.
My whole entire life. Like
now look, I wouldn't have said it like that because saying playing in the mud is usually associated with being dirty. That's why it's going to be a little bit more controversial by saying playing in the mud versus saying playing in the snow. It's because mud is seen as something that's dirty. So I can understand why people may be offended by what he said, but you got to hear what he's actually saying. And before I even give my little take on what he's already said, I just want to go ahead and start this by saying I do not care if you call me a raccoon down in the comments. Any African-American person who's well-spoken, who cares about their education, and who critiques black culture, African-American culture, we already know what the comments going to look like. I have a black woman. Our daughter is black. There's a black angel right next to her bassinet. You come in my house, you're going to see pictures of black families. My grandmother's name was Paulette, so you know that's a black-ass name. I am get your butt in the house before the street lights come on black. I am foot racing in the middle of the street black. Come up, Nate. I am in church every Sunday without the AC, just the hand fan black. Since we don't know who did it, everybody get a whooping black. And I'm only starting it off that way, not because I care about what the comments are going to say, but just because I want to show you how predictable it is. Any black man that critiques African-American culture is always called the raccoon word. We get it. But with that being said, I understand where you're coming from. Now, again, I wouldn't have said playing in the mud as a reference to African-American women, but I understand what he's saying. And I was having a conversation with one of my buddies recently about this, and I told him, bro, like, if you raised your African-American child to be loving, if he go and visit his siblings on the other side of town, he's going to get bullied for being loving in our community. So even from the beginning stages, when you getting raised, you kind of have to have an edge, and that's just to protect yourself from bullying. And to be honest, it carries over into adulthood. There are a lot of African-American men that are a little bit more conservative, a little bit more traditional. They might be a little bit more well-spoken even, or a little bit more scholarly, and they are looking for African-American women, but when they look for African-American women, they're always called lame or boring. And that's always the label until they get some level of success. But by then, they already, like he said, dating a white woman. When you an African-American man and you growing up and you talking to African-American women, you damn near have to have an edge. And it's even reflected in our art. Like people like Childish Gambino and Will Smith. Will Smith got married to Jada, but that was a little bit later. At first, he wanted to date a black woman, like he said, but nobody would accept him. And that's because he wasn't successful yet. You got to see him as a theater kid. He was a theater kid. And in our community, that would be considered lame or boring or wanting to be white or whatever it may be. Even in the shows, they didn't say it outright, but it was kind of implied that Steve Urkel was a lame. Why? Because he cared about his education. Even somebody like Carlton, it was implied that he was a lame. Why? Because he cared about self-discipline, being well-spoken, and having a decent education. But again, it's implied in our culture where if you're well-spoken, if you're a little bit more scholarly, if you have some more traditional values, you're seen to be a lame or boring. So I get what he's saying. The dude is like 5'4", he's like 120 pounds soaking wet, and he's well-spoken. So I understand why in our community he might not get any looks, especially until he was successful.
No.
Yes.
He's a milkman.
He's a milkman.
I'm gonna use that one. You call me the milkman, huh? I respect that. I've dated black girls before. It just didn't work out. They were trying to bully me all the time. I was like, I don't want them problems. I'm good.
Getting bullied.
So I wanted to keep on walking door to door and delivering milk. All right. But for me, it's always weird because depending on where I'm at in the country, right? If I'm over in the East Coast, if I'm like in Maryland, all that stuff, that's where I can feel the tension. I can feel like, of course. You can't handle a strong woman. Yeah, I was like, what? You might be right because I might be doing a lot more than I'm begging for. Yeah, right. And it's like I said, it's something I dealt with my whole entire life. Being in a barbecue full of homies and everybody there's black and they're all dating black chicks and I'm not. And I'm like,
now you that guy.
That's your guy's problem. I was like, who?
Looking for a professional photographer for your next big event? Need video of your special day? Then look no further. For $100 an hour, have a professional photographer or videographer shoot your wedding, birthday party, quinceañera, bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, anniversary party, or whatever your special occasion may be. Highlight your event with professional, crisp photos and video. Check out Charles Arness Photography on Instagram, as well as book us for your next event. Must live in the Southern California area.
I ain't gonna say it, but I was like, who's all stressed out here? Not my black ass. You all are.
This man is wild.
Nah, but I see what he's saying. At some point in our community, we started to worship the people that was a part of the problem. And that was the biggest issue with the African-American community. We started worshiping the people that was a part of the problem and saying that those were the good guys, and none of those guys had any virtues. But when you look back in the past, because I'm from the hood, bro, and just because you're from the hood don't mean you got to be ghetto. And that's something that my grandmother taught me. Just because you're from the hood don't mean you can't be articulate. Don't mean you can't be well-spoken. And when you look at a lot of our leaders from the past, the people who actually had motion and had political influence from the African-American community, a lot of those people were well-spoken. They were articulate. They were smart. They read a lot of books. They were educated. And they were worshipped for those traits. But in this modern African-American culture, for some reason, if you follow that same lineage, all of a sudden you want to be white, which is weird. Not being able to speak proper English don't mean that you black. It means that you stupid. That's what I was taught. And as an African-American man, when you try to date African-American women, you almost are forced to have some type of edge. Now, there are African-American women that will date white dudes, but when they date white dudes, they don't require them to have that same level of edge. And if you a black man, you gonna understand what I'm saying. For a black man, you damn near have to have some level of edge in order to get any play in our community. And I think that's a problem. I know dudes that are well-spoken, well put together, and make over 6 figures, but every time they try to date within the black community, they always getting their masculinity challenged. And no man wants to be in a place where he's not wanted and his masculinity is always challenged. Especially a man that respects his peace and actually wants to grow in the world. And by the way, this is something that I have noticed as prominent in the African American culture, but I see this type of attitude growing amongst the women in almost every culture, especially in Western civilization. It'd be a black dude who's kind of loving, a little bit more lighthearted, but when he try to date black women, he's boring or he's lame until he meets some level of success, or until she gets to a certain age where she's ready to settle down. And I don't care what community you're a part of, no man wants to be second fiddle. Again, this is something that's just prominent in modern black culture. This isn't something that happened in the past. In the past, we had well-spoken, black, articulate men who could lead politically, and these guys were married at higher rates than any other demographic in America. So this isn't something that we've been doing previously, but this is definitely something that's been happening within the past 20, 30, 40 years, I'd say. When you talk to DJs, they'll tell you straight up that they play the music that the ladies want to hear. And when you listen to the music that they play, and you listen to the people, and you pay attention to the people that we tend to put to the forefront, of course, Taylor Swift is bad. I don't think she's good in terms of her influence on some of the ladies in other communities. But have you ever heard of Sexy Red? Everything is about taking advantage of men. Everything is about what you can get from a man, and everything is overly promiscuous. And that type of mindset is implemented in the culture. They try to act like it's a good thing to be a problem. Like, there are African-American women, there are black women that'll say you can't handle a woman. Who wants to handle a woman? We supposed to be coexisting together. We supposed to be on the same team. Why I gotta handle you? You're not a wild animal. So yeah, DJ is light-skinned, he's 5'3", and he's about 130 pounds. Now, I'm not gonna fight him about it. So yeah, I understand what he's saying. Highest rate of teen pregnancy, highest rate of single motherhood. About 70% of African-American kids are born out of wedlock. Highest rates of obesity, and highest rates of divorce. And again, this wasn't a thing of the past, but this is something that's going on modernly. And I can understand DJ's take. I understand where he's coming from. After being taken advantage of and taking an outside look at the culture, some people just don't want to deal with it.
Time I was like, I don't want them problems. I'm good.
That's pretty deep, man. Damn. He had some points. They have convinced us to embrace our treacherous side within the black community. They've made the treacherous of us cool. And our women are choosing the most treacherous of us to procreate, to make more treacherous people. And eventually the treacherousness will just end up taking us all out. We'll will be completely dominated, which we already are, but we will pretty much self-destruct. Because if we don't choose the smart and intelligent amongst us and the strong, like Malcolm X will be lame. If Malcolm X was existed in today's time, he would be lame. Martin Luther King would be lame. A modern version of Martin Luther King today would be lame. Um, the athletes and the uh, and the hood dudes is what's cool. Street rappers, you know, well-spoken, uh, articulate, smart black men aren't to be taken seriously. Their manhood needs to be always be checked and questioned by other black men and other black women, you know. Um, but it's crazy. What he did say was interesting that black women, if a white boy can be just as goofy and they'll accept this is the goofiest, dorkiest white boy. As long as he's cute, he can be just as goofy and dorky and lame, and they'll be just in love with him. But brother, we gotta be hard and just got out the joint. You know, we gotta have, a couple of tats on us, running from the police. I had a girl tell me one time and she was turned off. I'll never forget this. She said that I was lame because I said, why am I? She said, because you ain't never been to jail, you juvenile. Like, come on, what, what black man ain't never been to jail? At least juvenile, at least something. And I was like, is this bitch serious? And she was dead ass serious. She didn't think I had enough edge, no enough street swag. So I need to go to jail in order to get that, I guess. And that's what it is. A lot of them think that. And then a lot of times what's happening when they get older and they start to slow down and they had all the thug dudes, babies. I done talked about this before. Now, come here, good, responsible man who probably went and got him a good job and responsible. Now he has a nice retirement plan and doing good for himself. I know you're still single. Come over and help me with these hood. And now you sloppy seconds, you're like 50 pounds overweight. You're not as cute as you used to be, and your wound been skeeted in by two different dudes, and both of them in prison. So now here you come, want me to come help you raise your little psychopaths that you had with these psychopaths. Listen, most of these dudes are psychopaths. That's all they are. You know what I'm saying? Psychopaths. And women are choosing the psychopaths. They made it where the psychopaths amongst and the non they've made the destroyer of our the destructiveness of our men in our community. They've made them the leaders when the scholars used to be the leaders, read the book readers, the thinkers. You know, they were still aggressive, but they were smart. They moved different. The Sigma male. They made the alpha male. The Sigma male rules over the Sigma. The Sigma male is not as strong as the alpha male, but he knows how to outsmart. This, the Sigma male is not as strong as the alpha male, but he knows how to outsmart the alpha male, and he's definitely more bigger than the beta male. The Sigma male knows how to control the alpha male. You know, very few alpha males exist. You know, let me give y'all an example of what a sigma male is. Y'all heard beta and alpha. A lot of y'all probably haven't heard of sigma. Sigma male. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, you have Dallas Cowboys, right? Dallas Cowboys. That's an NFL dynasty team with billions of dollars, right? Okay, I'm gonna break this down for y'all what a sigma, beta, and an alpha male is. The beta males are usually the guys who attend the football games, the diehards, the big guys with the big beer bellies, haven't worked out in years, ain't, know everything about all the players and know wears the jersey faithfully, but they got a beer belly. They can't run for shit. They have no athletic ability at all. Those are usually the beta males, right? Now the guys that's playing football, the dudes is out there on the field running the ball, right? The big giants. Those are the athletic guys. Lift weights, you know what I'm saying? Big old necks from, you know what I'm saying, quads, thighs, bodies like gods. These are the alpha male, really aggressive. These are the alpha males. Those are the alpha males, the guys in the field. The guys that the beta males are watching and looking up to, those are the alpha males. The football players. Deion Sanders, those are alpha males. Emmitt Smith, alpha males, players. Now, who are the sigma males? Who's sitting up in those boxes up there watching the pawn, the alpha and the beta males? Who's sitting up in those owner boxes? Who's in there sitting in the owner's boxes and watching the alpha male, a bunch of alpha males go at each other, and the beta males look on and have paid the guy is looking down. That's the sigma male. Jerry Jones is a sigma male. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I can go on all day. I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway, the fact of the matter is that the women, they've made it where the women our women choose the worst of us. Corey Holcomb talked about this. Our women choose the worst of us when they used to choose the best of us. Being a hoodlum back in the 60s, that was kind of looked, only certain women liked the hoodlum guys, like in the 50s and the 60s. Women back in the day wanted classy guy, gentlemen in those days. You know what I'm saying? Even in the 70s, everybody want the cool, smooth guy that can dress and, educated, smart, you know what I'm saying, doing his thing, black consciousness about itself. That's what they wanted in the 70s. Then, then the 80s and then towards the 90s, now everybody wants the hoodlum. That's what it is. They made our women want the hoodlum. Anyway, y'all, this video has went too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right now. I'm just gonna rambling on. Leave the comments and subscribe to the channel. The thumbs up button.
Want to see all of Los Angeles in one day and get some cool professional photos all at the same time? Check out the LA Experience. You will have your own personal driver / professional photographer who will pick you up from your location and take you from downtown LA to Hollywood, to Beverly Hills, to West Hollywood, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, and then back to your original location. All while taking professional Hollywood-style photos of you and your party. The LA Experience is a private tour for up to 4 people in our clean, compact SUVs. The LA Experience private tour
for
is
just
only
$400 for 4 hours.
Price includes tour, professional photos, as well as complimentary snacks. Book your private tour now. Spots are filling up fast, so contact us now to book.
Also be sure to check out the dopiest YouTube channel in the world, Charles Arness World.
Welcome to No Face City.
Jake Paul, what, 27?
27.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you're fighting a dude third, and he's
could be his grand.
His like pre-fight interviews. He's like, this has been my dream. I want to fight the greatest ever. But
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he was the greatest ever.
Yeah. Like 20 years
ago,
right?
30 years
Right,
ago. Like,
yeah.
he hasn't had a good fight in 20 years.
Yeah, right.
His prime was 30 years
30
ago
years
when he
ago.
was your age.
You're right.
Like, you're acting like you're fighting, like going one-on-one with Jordan.
Right. Yeah.
And Jordan's an old fucking man.
Man now, yeah.
You're not going peak like 94, 95 Jordan.
Right. I will say this, Jake Paul is fast. He's pretty fast now, but
once he got over, because you could tell, like the first round and second, like he looked afraid.
yeah, you could tell.
He was fucking up every 2 seconds.
Right, he was.
And he was running.
He looked like he was shocked, like, oh shit, it's really happening.
Yeah, because I think he got hit, like felt the fucking Iron Mike fist.
Yeah.
He was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
This guy might be old, but he's still got some power.
Power to him, yeah.
And I think that's why he got scared and started running.
Do you think he'll ever fight somebody real, like a real boxer?
No, because
Okay.
he loses all of his street cred and all of his like abilities and everything the second he takes a real fight on.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. He needs to fight somebody. I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, he should fight Conor McGregor.
So he's tried.
Really?
McGregor has said no.
Uh-huh.
And he's tried throwing like stupid amount, like this one. Tyson, I think, made $30 million off this fight at the end of the day.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. It's a nice little payday.
And he tried offering like, I think it was like $40 million to McGregor. And McGregor said no, because he's like, I will kill you if we step in the octagon.
Not
he
boxing.
initially tried saying he'd take him in UFC. And then said, okay, well, box me. And McGregor's like, I boxed one of the greatest boxers of all time.
Hopefully, on the floor.
And he's like, I did it in a sport that's not my sport. Completely different rules. But I did it because I have respect for him as a fighter. He goes, you put me in a ring with you, I will kill you to prove a point.
Ooh.
And he's like crazy enough.
Yeah, Conor is kind of crazy.
You didn't really see the crazy old Mike Tyson in tonight's fight.
Right, yeah. He was, the first 2 rounds, he was kind of,
yeah. Like, back in the day, Mike would have torn his fucking head off.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a
for being an influencer.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
TikToker trying to step into the fucking ring.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that would have been like a pit bull fighting a chihuahua.
Oh, yeah. And that was kind of McGregor's point. And, like, I've seen a couple videos where he's talked about it. And he's like, look, I don't need the money. I'm not one of these guys that he can throw unlimited amounts of money at. And they're going to, oh, my God, let me jump on this. And agree to your specific rules and whatever.
Yeah. I can see McGregor being that way too. He's kind of cocky like that.
He's cocky as shit, and he doesn't need the fucking money.
He don't need the money. I saw he just bought like a Lamborghini boat and shit.
Oh yeah,
he made boats.
The man can spend like the idiot he's been spending like for the next 10 lifetimes and still have cash.
Still have cash, yeah. Damn.
But that's like the problem is like, and Jake's not a bad fighter.
Yeah, he's not. That's what I'm saying. I was kind of shocked. I never really watched his fights like the first 2 rounds. Oh, he's pretty fast.
Decent technique and all that. Like, he's also got more money than you could ever spend, so he pays the best trainers, the best nutritionists. Like,
right.
And you go back to like the old boxers. Fucking Tyson back in the day, he didn't have money. Like when he got started, he had no money for that shit.
Nah.
He was boxing.
All he had was
gym in Brooklyn.
Right. Them old school ones.
Yeah.
With Customato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy got to start because he had nothing else to do.
Right.
And it was this or prison.
Right. Right. He even says that. Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of, you go to like the Rocky story, and yeah, it's a movie and fake and everything, but that's true for a lot of boxers.
Right.
Like, you fucking look at Rocky, and he was a tough guy, a fucking fixer for a mobster.
Yeah. That was the first one, yeah.
His only way out was, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna box.
Yeah, to get out the lifestyle.
Yeah, I can take a fucking hit, so let me just keep doing it.
I forgot that Rocky was like he would go and collect money for the mob.
For the mob at the start of it.
Damn.
And they did that, and I know Sly pretty well, Stallone.
Really? Yeah.
And he's like, when he wrote it, it was because he had heard that from guys he knew that were boxers and doing shit.
Right. You got real?
Yeah.
Hey, man, it was nice talking to you, Kyle. Stay safe, bro.
See you on my way out.
I know, right? See you again, all right? Have a good one, Kyle.
You too.
What up, bitch? You know this Charles Arns World, bitch. I spite hot fire, bitch. On the set, I stay 10 toes down for the homie on. Did you know what it is, Buster?